Hi, and welcome back to Purple Collar Life. Well, it happened. First snow of the year yesterday, November 11th, on Veterans Day. A belated thank you to all the veterans out there. We had a special Veterans Day recognition here as my dad got recognized by the local school district for his service in the military. So that was a nice special treat, and thank you to my dad and all the veterans out there for their services and sacrifices. So here we are, snow in the background. It's snowing right now, and I wanted to talk to you about 4 key things to do to prepare for winter. Now, I was ahead of the game this year. I knew it was coming. I could tell the weather was changing a little bit early. The deer started going crazy. They're in what we call the rut here in Pennsylvania, and the bucks are chasing around all those does. We've had a lot of excitement recently looking out the back window and watching the bucks move around. So let's talk about 4 key tips to prepare for winter. Whether you're ready or not, it's coming. We've already had our first snow, but this is going to melt pretty quickly. We've got some warm days coming up, but after that, we'll be in the thick of winter before you know it. Preparation number 1 is get ready for travel. If you live in an area like us where you get snowfall and you need the winter preparations for your vehicle, now is the time to do that. I went ahead and put our studded winter tires on the F350 as soon as I was allowed. It was November 1st here in Pennsylvania. You can start running the metal studded tires. So I put the studded tires on November 1st. I also got brand new tires for the Chevy Volt. The Chevy Volt is Mackenzie's daily driver. She's away at college. I wanted to make sure that she had good tires. I've been running some Michelin X-Ice tires on that car, but it was time to replace them. They still had some decent tread. Maybe not the best for wintertime, but decent, but they were 10 years old. So I got a set of the Bridgestone Blizzaks, which are my all-time favorite winter tire, and had those installed on the Volt for her, and she was able to go back to school after the weekend with a Volt with brand new winter tires just before this winter storm hit. So some other travel prep. I always like to throw a tow chain in the back of the truck just in case myself or anybody else needs some tow assistance in the bad weather. And then also make sure that there's some blankets inside for cold weather just in case you were stranded inside the vehicle for a long time. It's also a great time to check and make sure you have windshield washer fluid, but not just any. Here in the cold weather climates, you want to have windshield washer fluid that is made for negative temperatures. So this is minus 20 degrees F, but I'll actually get stuff that's made for even colder than that, like minus 30, because with the wind chill factor, it can get pretty cold and you don't want the slush and snow freezing on your windshield. Tip number 2 is storage. So you can see I've got the boats lined up here. I actually organized them a little bit better than usual. I was able to get the pontoon boat, the ski boat, and the jet ski all in one section of the big building here. So I could park the big F350 in this building, and that allowed me to park the Lightning in the garage. But when it comes to storage, you've got to do a couple things. Prepare everything for storage. So I have winterized the jet ski, and I've made videos in the past on the really easy way to complete that process. I'll put a link to that up above and down below in the description. I've got the pontoon boat winterized, the ski boat we didn't get out this year, so it's still winterized from last winter. But I've also got everything on trickle chargers because nothing worse than coming springtime, wanting to use that equipment and the battery is dead or the battery is ruined from sitting dead too long all winter long. The other thing that I've got ready for winter is the fifth wheel. So I winterized the fifth wheel camper. We use RV antifreeze in that, and I've made videos on that in the past. I'll put links up above or down below. So that is ready to go. We've taken anything that could freeze out of the camper. So no canned good left in there. Made sure all the water was drained out. All the gray tank is empty. The black tank is empty. Everything in the camper is ready for wintertime.
Clear. And now we're pink.
It's also a great time to put your mouse deterrent. So if you use different types of mouse deterrent, It's great to put those in a building like this for storage. This is not a heated building, but the mice still find it much more pleasant to be in this building than outside in the snow. So they will get into and live anywhere they can. It's best to use all kinds of deterrents to keep them from ruining your equipment while it stores for the winter. You can see I've got the Toro time cutter on the trickle charger. It's not even cleaned up yet. I was just blowing leaves with it a few days ago, but it was getting so cold these last few days that I wanted to make sure the battery doesn't go dead. Okay, so we talked about tip number 1, travel, and tip number 2, storage. Let's talk about tip number 3, being ready for the snow. We live in the lake effect snow area. Just south of Lake Erie. So we get our fair share of snow, and I'm ready for it. You can see I've got the snow plow moved out right here behind me. Easy access to grab it with the tractor. I've also got the snow blower ready to go. We've got the Toro snow blower, and I use it like towards the end of the driveway where sometimes we get plowed in by the snow plow trucks, constantly moving that snow right into the end of the driveway. It's really easy to clean out in front of the mailbox and those areas at the end of the driveway with the snow blower. But you can see I've got easy access with the tractor to be able to turn around and hook up to the snow plow. Things like the generator that we use for camping. I put the fuel stabilizer treatment in that. Made a video recently about how I treat my fuel for wintertime. I'll put that video link up above also. So you'll notice I'm mentioning a lot of previous videos, and that's because I was preparing for winter starting several weeks ago. So all those things I was doing, the fuel prep, the winterizing, the jet ski, all those things were in preparation of days like this where now it's in the 10s and 20 degrees and you don't want to be doing all that work outside trying to winterize things, and you don't want to wait too long until the water freezes and you've got those issues with your fuel. It's better to do it early. If you look up above the roof line of the house there, you'll see a little bit of smoke coming out of the chimney. Preparation tip number 4 is heat. Just behind me here are a few of my wood piles. We heat our house with firewood in the buck stove and with pellets in the pellet stove. Our house is all electric. We do not have access to natural gas at our house. So that means that the preparation for this actually started over a year ago, 2 years ago, preparing our Pennsylvania hardwoods to be seasoned properly to be used as firewood heat. So in preparation of this snowstorm, I came up to my firewood piles here, got some firewood and carried it into the basement so that that would already be done, stocked up for the week. I try to do that every weekend. I use either the tractor or the Polaris Ranger to come up and get enough wood to get me through the week, and I stock that in the basement so it can sit in the basement and be easier to access with a pair of slippers on when the fire's burning. Also last weekend, in preparation for the snow, we were down to 5 bags of wood pellets, and I was waiting for the price to come down a little bit. I've done videos in the past about how long does a bag of wood pellets last, which ones work the best. I'll put those links down below. And about 2 weeks ago, I checked with Tractor Supply, and their pellets were $2.49 a ton. I thought, nah, that's not a bad price, but let's see if they go down to $2.39. Well, I waited too long. Last week they were $2.89, so I ended up paying $40 a ton more than I needed to if I just would have done it 2 weeks ago. But having the 1-ton pickup truck, I went out to Tractor Supply and got a ton at a time twice, and we loaded 2 tons of pellets in the basement. That won't get us all the way through winter, but the majority of it. And I'll tell you, it's much easier to carry bags of pellets into the basement in the non-snow weather than it is in the snow weather. It was actually to a point where I could drive around the entire house and park out back with the truck and then unload directly from the truck into the door of the basement. Typically, we're unloading from the driveway, carrying those bags of pellets down the sidewalk, down the steps, in the basement doors for the basement storage. So this way was much easier. We've got 2 tons in the hopper, ready to go. You can probably see behind me here, I've got some logs on the ground. We had some trees that were pretty close to our big building and pretty close to the shed. So we took this opportunity just before winter, and I had Mike come and cut these trees down that were gonna be dangerous in the next big windstorm. So they're down, and you'll see a video all about that in the future. The other thing you're gonna see in the future, I've got some cool tractor information coming up, some cool tractor tips that I wanna be able to share with you. So make sure if you're not already clicked on that subscribe button to follow us along, click the subscribe button, click the bell beside it so you get notified when we put out new videos. Lots coming up, even though it's winter time here on Purple Collar Life. We've got a lot of cutting, splitting, and stacking to do with this firewood so that it's ready for 1 or 2 years from now. And then, like I said, some cool stuff when it comes to tractors. So yes, mid-November, and it already is the winter time. Now here in Northwest Pennsylvania, our winter actually gets the most harsh in like January, February time frame. So this is just the start of it, and it typically is pretty mild November into early December. I'm always hopeful that we have a white Christmas, but these days it doesn't happen as much as it did when I was a kid. So the 4 tips to prepare for winter. Number 1, be ready for travel. Number 2, have your summer stuff stored away. Number 3, have everything ready for the snow if you live in a snow area like us. And number 4, be ready to keep yourself nice and toasty warm throughout these winter months. Bonus tip number 5, if you've got an outside spigot like us, here in Western Pennsylvania we call it a spigot. I know a lot of you call it a faucet. Leave a comment down below, what do you call it? But it's great to have these frost-free spigots, but it doesn't do you any good if you keep the hose connected to it. So bonus tip, disconnect that garden hose from your spigot for the winter time. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, please give us a big thumbs up. Hit that hype button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below on the things that you do or something key that maybe I missed in this video as you prepare for winter. And also, it's always helpful to know where you're chiming in from, so leave in the comments where you're located. Always cool to get an idea of where everybody's watching from and what winters are like in your area. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again the next time.